Perfectly excellent.
Hey, how's it going, party people? Welcome to Perfectly Excellent, episode number 42, the 42nd in a series of episodes that we're doing.
Indeed.
How's it going, Al?
It's going okay. I'm not feeling 100%, but I will give it my all for episode 42. I would hate to let anyone down. So,
well, I will try to compensate by being twice as annoying as usual.
Excellent,
and hopefully that will work out. Tonight we're doing the world famous, often imitated, never duplicated 6 demon bag.
Didn't we duplicate it though? When you think about it,
it's our fourth time doing it. So we've passed duplicating it. So we're just doing it every so often. And for those new folks who may not have experienced a 6 demon bag before, that's when we're going to do just like a couple of little bite-sized segments talking about some things rather than having one long topic that we do a deep dive into. Just a bunch of little things, fun size.
Yeah, fun. A collection of randomness.
Randomness. So should we just dive right on into it? Because we actually have 6 in the 6 demon bag this time.
All right, let's do it. Yeah, let's. You don't want to keep anybody waiting. Let's go for it.
All right, number 1.
Oh wait, we got to do this.
Perfectly excellent.
We got to do the what?
This thing. This is part of the bag, right?
Yeah, this is part of the bag.
This is bag part 1.
This is bag 1 of the 6 or demon 1 of the bag.
Demon numero uno demon.
So time for the Invention Exchange. We're gonna share some recent pickups. Ooh. If you remember, Alan, when we went to ZoloCon, I was enamored with a garbage can that I had been looking for. The Pac-Man garbage can. And I didn't get it.
You were enamored and then denied.
Yeah, I decided not to because I walked away from it because it had a little bit of damage on top. It had more rust than I really was looking for. And I said, let me think about it. And I thought about it and I'm like, I bet you I can talk him down a little bit. So we went back and it was gone. So I missed my window. So that was okay. But as I told you, I found another garbage can that I had wanted that I said was equal. Wasn't better, wasn't necessarily worse. It was equal. And I wanted to share said garbage can.
Look at that. This one looks great. Very nice. I think this one is definitely your speed. And it looks like you have like 100% less chance of getting tetanus from this one.
Yes, it is very good. As you can see, I have a liner in it because I am actually using it for my garbage bags. This is my Mac Tonight, as I do enjoy the McDonald's things quite a bit. And Mac Tonight being one of my favorite characters, even though he's not technically part of McDonaldland. He's a loner that lives on the outskirts of town.
Oh, really? I didn't know his backstory. Very nice. This is an awesome pickup, and I'm laughing at it because we talked about Nightbreed last week, and there's a character that looks like Mac Tonight. So cool, great pickup, and great that it's going right to use.
I'm very excited about that, but
wait, there's more.
But I also just so happen to have rolled across one of these as well, which again, no rust at all. Dynamite. Essentially, like if you factor in the shipping, it was essentially the same price as the other one. It's a little more than the one that was at ZoloCon, but it's in much nicer condition. No damage, no rust.
The rust was a bummer of that one, so I'm glad I'm glad you walked away from that. But this is great. Look at you. You can make twice as the mess now.
And I put a liner in this one because I'm just putting them right next to each other, and I'm just going to use them.
Is one
and
for
I'm
recycling?
I'm trying to convince myself that I don't need to start collecting garbage cans.
Oh,
because there's other ones that are really rad. But
when does it become a collection? Because you have 2. Yeah, very nice. Again, you can recycle and you can throw out trash. So
I didn't even think of that.
That's what I'm here for all
Wonderful,
the ideas.
thank you. But I'm really excited to have gotten that, and I feel much better about passing up that one at ZoloCon.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm glad it worked out for you in the end there. And as you may recall, Tim, on a previous episode, we were talking about magazines.
We were talking about magazines.
We were talking about magazines, and we were reminiscing about the joy that magazines brought us, and the ones
tactile touch of paper.
That tactile touch of paper. And the episode just proved too much for me to resist. So my show and tell, my Invention Exchange today is the first of a few magazines that are coming my way. This is Nintendo Power from December of 2002.
That is a much later issue than I figured you'd start picking up.
Well, it's, I kind of just started browsing and this one popped up. This was super inexpensive, especially compared to the ones you're tracking down. But I do love Metroid Fusion is my favorite of the Metroids, was released on the Game Boy Advance. But would you look at this?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got this and I'm like, did he send extra magazines? Because I couldn't believe just how thick this was. But yeah, $4.95. So I basically paid that plus shipping. So
not bad.
But yeah, I'm pretty psyched. I will admit I've got a few more on the way, but I'm being very, very selective of the ones that I pick up. But yeah, it's very cool. You have to tell me where you got the backings and everything, because I would like to keep it in good shape.
Oh, the ones that I'm wondering, is it the same size as the Source magazine? I wonder.
Well,
I don't know how.
That's bigger, right? This is like more normal magazine size.
No, I maybe they're the same size. I don't know if there's a standard magazine size. I guess there is. That, to me, the one you're holding looks bigger. That looks like a catalog.
Yeah, I could not believe how thick it was. So cool. Yeah, but I could not resist. The urge was too great, and just seeing the cover is awesome. I'm very, very excited to have this.
So the ones that you're hunting down, are you kind of hunting down any specific era, or are you hunting down magazines that you remember, or just ones that have covers that are interesting to you? Yes.
Yeah, I'm a hunt. Yes, correct. No, I'm hunting down the ones with the covers, where the main focus or the big article is games that were important. So mostly Zelda titles, probably, but again, Metroid Fusion. I think it's a great one. And I think it's a good one that will look good on display with the game, right? So look at that.
Oh, so first you take the thing, put it in the bag, dump. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, so I think it'll be cool. Again, like you, I can't actually read them because I can't see so well, but I have these all digitally, so I can read the, zoom in to my heart's content on my iPad, but it's still really neat to see it in person, and it's in great shape. So that was awesome.
And luckily, since you're collecting, Nintendo Power, which there was probably a bigger circulation of than the Source, you have other people that have scanned them for you. You don't have to buy them specifically to scan them, so you can then read them.
Yes, and I neglected to mention it last time, but it is what is it? It's like Retro Game Mags is the website where you can find all of the Nintendo Powers amongst a ton of other scanned magazines. So there is a plethora of magazines there to enjoy.
Very nice. Very nice.
One bag down.
One bag down. Batter up.
Batter up.
Perfectly excellent.
That was nice.
That was good. That was from the Intellivision. Apparently there was an Intellivision Masters of the Universe game.
And in television, wow, that one do not. I grew up in the Intellivision, but I certainly do not remember that.
Yeah, I had the ColecoVision, and I don't remember us having a He. Well, I know for a fact that I didn't have a He-Man game, but I don't think ColecoVision had one of those.
That was super. Even the music was super impressive for being an Intellivision game.
That's what it said on the internet, anyway. So they might be being liar to me. You never know.
Yeah, I know that sounded really good. Well, we'll have to fact check that one and see what the internet.
Well, I put the drums in. I added the drums.
All right, there you go. I mean, and the internet's never wrong. So, yeah, cool. Well, yeah. How do you want to do this? You are a fan of He-Man.
I do like the He-Mans. I am a big fan of that. So We're gonna start by talking. Like, you watched the trailer, right?
I've watched several trailers for this. There's like the teasers and the latest one that's come out. I'm all trailered in.
Okay, good. So I'm really excited about there being a He-Man movie. He-Man is definitely one of the 80s cartoons that I like the most, and the toys especially. I probably had more He-Man toys than anything else when I was a kid, as far as just like a quantity of them. I had most of the first like 4 or 5 waves of figures. I had Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, a whole bunch of the vehicles, because the vehicles weren't really that big. They were all kind of small.
But you already got a He-Man movie. What are you talking about?
I hate that He-Man movie. Oh, really? I loathe that 1987 He-Man movie.
Okay.
Because like there's almost no one from He-Man in it except for He-Man. Like,
he was in it.
Yeah. He was in it, but that's a bit like there's no Orko. You got this other Gwildor guy. Instead, he's on Earth going to the Maul. It's like, I don't like that He-Man movie at all.
So are you concerned then? Because this guy's on Earth, is he not?
But for a completely different reason.
Not that's for the Maul.
Like in the new one that's coming out, He-Man as a wee lad was sent from Eternia to Earth to hide him or protect him or to get him away from Skeletor.
Yeah.
Unlike the 87 movie where they just go to Earth because they go to Earth as like grown-up He-Man people. And I know, not my thing.
All right, so we'll push that away. Let's talk about the new stuff.
I'm much more okay with this as a concept. I like the idea that you can introduce the He-Man character into the Eternia universe without having to go through like some weird like teenage years type stuff. You know, it kind of gives you a decent way to sort of shoehorn him into the situation, explain who he is to the audience, and then just sort of just get right to it.
Okay.
So I kind of like that. So let's go over onto a Mr. Screen Share. The first thing that I love is that they have Cringer doing the roar at the beginning of this.
That was good.
That is a really, really nice touch. I'm a big fan of that. So the trailer doesn't really give a ton of information. It's mostly just kind of going through some bits and pieces with a little bit of dialogue. It's not really telling much of a story past the fact that He-Man ended up on Earth and has to get back, and Skeletor, I guess, has already sort of conquered.
And he's daydreaming about a sword, right? He's got
he needs to get his sword on Earth so then he can go back to Eternia.
Does he know that though?
Yeah, he remembers it all.
Oh, he does. Okay,
that's what he's saying. And like it's at the very beginning, he's talking to a bunch of the characters, and he says, you know, you might not remember me, but I remember all of you.
Okay,
so basically what I kind of wanted to just do.
He's doing the thing.
He's doing the thing. So they showed a bunch of characters in this trailer. So on the good guy side of things, they showed He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms, Randor, Ram-Man, Fisto, Mechanic, Cringer, I think Roboto, and maybe Marlena as well, He-Man's mom. You see like just a little bit of her. So there's like a good amount of the good guys that are present in this trailer. Do you know any of those characters?
I Man-at-Arms. I know like the real basic ones. Like probably, I don't know, 40% of those names you just sounded off. No Orko though. I was looking for him.
There is no Orko yet. There's a bunch of people that haven't been around. They also haven't shown Cringer as Battle Cat with like the helmet thing on or any of that. So I wonder if that's going to happen or not. So on the bad guy side of things, we don't get that many bad guys in this trailer. We only get Skeletor, Evelyn, Trapjaw, and for like a split second, you can see Goatman kind of off to the side. Goatman.
Lesser known villain.
Definitely a lesser known villain who I am extremely surprised is in this movie.
Are you pleased with their appearances?
I think that Mechanic looks a little bit weird. His face is a little too round. I would prefer it to be more angular, like the figure. Ram Man also, I would prefer him to be perhaps a bit broader in the way his armor goes over his shoulders. He seems a little narrow to me.
Okay.
But in general, I think everyone looks good. The guy who's doing Man at Arms, I don't know that actor's name.
Idris Elba or what? I butchered his name, but yes.
Yeah, I'm very bad with people's names, but he looks great as Man at Arms. Like they got his costume like it looks like right out of the screen. It's got the golds and the greens, and he's got his little mace thing. Like they did Man at Arms real good. So I'm psyched about that.
Yep, awesome. I'm glad to hear you excited about this. I didn't know what your take on this. Like you said, you hated the other He-Man, but you sound like you're pretty up for this so far.
I am optimistic. I think Eternia looks pretty cool. This shot of Snake Mountain looks foreboding. It's got some Lord of the Rings Mordor vibes going on there, but I like it.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. However, I will say that I think Castle Grayskull looks a little small.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like,
yeah, it
maybe
looks
it's long. Maybe it's long in the back.
It looks kind of tiny. It's also very cartoony looking. Like the CGI in this movie is not hyper realistic looking to me, but I'm kind of okay with that for like a He-Man movie because it just sort of looks like a goofy cartoon, and I'm fine with that. Like I can just tell already it's going to be full of like, goofy zingers and like action movie tropes. But the reason why I'm kind of excited about it is it looks like it kind of has the charm of the TV show to me, of the animated show. Like I feel a little of that same sort of vibe from it, and I like that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like
as someone who's not as invested in the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, I will tell you, but I like the illuminated pathway. Like maybe at some point we'll talk about my thing with lights and torches and candles and movies, because I have like a sick infatuation with them, because like just logistically, who lit them, how long have they been burning, and all that. But we'll get into that another time. Yes, solar. Yeah, perhaps that'd be great. That's very energy efficient and all. Someone with nothing vested, nothing ventured, nothing to be gained here. I love this. Like, I want to see this movie. The trailer looks like a lot of good, goofy fun. There's swords and space, and anytime you get like swords and spaceship, seriously, like in the same space, I am all on board. So I have no notes, no complaints. I enjoyed everything, even like, with when him sitting at his day job with his him, that like cracked me up that he is He-Man, like his pronouns. I don't know. Like this is one that I'm really eager to see, because it looks like just a really fun, good time, and hopefully non-offensive to your He-Man senses. So
yeah, again, so far it is looking way better than I think it has any business looking. Like I'm really kind of shocked that I'm interested in it. I was really worried they were going to do sort of like the Barbie thing where they just sent He-Man to be a fish out of water in like, oh, I'm He-Man the toy and now I'm in Earth. Like there were some early shots that leaked of Prince Adam like being arrested by police officers. And I was like, oh, don't do that. But it makes sense to me now because of the whole like exiled having to get back to Eternia. So I'm much more optimistic about it.
Cool.
So it's also going to be like a really big year for He-Man toys as well. They did one of those Mattel Creations revealed fan streams a couple of weeks ago, which was a little weird because there were all sorts of technical problems with it, and it started almost like a half hour late. And then they didn't even acknowledge the fact that it started a half hour late, which was interesting. But that stream didn't have a lot of the reveals of like movie stuff. Like there's a couple of main He-Man toy lines, Origins being the one that's kind of proportioned to the vintage toys. So that's the one that I'm currently collecting. And they revealed a whole bunch of movie accurate Origins figures. So those weren't part of this fan stream, and I'm probably not going to end up getting those because I'm trying to stick to the ones that are kind of based on the vintage toys more than anything else.
Classics, sure.
Yeah, they have like a cartoon series, and I don't collect that. They have like the 200X cartoon series from the early 2000s. They have figures for those. I'm not getting any of those. I'm really just trying to stick to the core Origins lines. But on this fan stream, they did reveal a new figure for the Origins line that is one of those original figures, and that is Laser Power He-Man. They're finally getting to him.
Oh, look at him. He's blue, and he's got a... Is this do something?
Yeah, the sword lights up.
Ah, there it is.
So this was a figure that came out in the original line. Like, it's one of like the last 2 figures that came out in the original line. Didn't come out in America ever. So this is like one of those like really sought after original figures. It's one of the more rare ones. So they're getting to that in Origins. I ordered that. It's actually here already. I don't have it at my desk. It's over on the shelf.
Look at that. Instant gratification.
Yeah, it was in stock, ready to rock, and I was pretty excited. So I think they're down to like 6 or 7 figures left from the vintage line that they have to finish. The big one still being Too Bad. I still don't have a Too Bad, which I find very annoying. But this was revealed, and this was pretty cool. But awesome. I really wanted to show you the next one, and I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Oh my gosh.
What? So they're doing a collaboration with an artist named James Jean, who I'm not super familiar with. So this artist, he basically designed these sort of wacky versions of Skeletor and He-Man. So you have like the coral version of Skeletor and Panther, and then the floral version of He-Man and Battle Cat. They're really kind of being sold as like, art pieces more than anything else. I'm not familiar with the artist. I look at these and I think they're really cool, but mostly because of like space considerations, because they have the 2 cats. I don't really have room for something like this. They're also $100 each, like $100 for Skeletor and Panther, and then $100 for He-Man and Battle Cat. So this is a pass for me, even though I do think they're kind of cool looking. But I feel like this is something that sort of goes a little bit more into your wheelhouse than mine.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, I like the weirder takes on this. Like floral He-Man, though, immediately I thought of The Last of Us. Like, are they like infected with spores there? Yeah, this is definitely bizarre. I think the coral Skeletor looks awesome. Though
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess coral and floral, I get what's happening there, but I think coral is a weird choice for Skeletor because I don't picture the 2 of them diving off the reef. So
you're saying you don't picture them under the sea?
No, definitely not under. But again, I don't know. Like, I don't know much about He-Man. Maybe Skeletor is into that. I think these are really cool. Definitely. I like the bizarreness. I like when they really like something like this is such a cool idea. Give an artist a license to try to interpret the characters. I could see why, the 2 cats would take up a lot of space, but no, I'm totally in favor of this type of thing. And again, I think the coral one looks much more fitting to the characters. The floral one looks a little weird. Looks a little weird. Yeah. Looks like an infection.
I don't know if it looks like an infection, but it's the lesser of the 2 in my opinion. But I like that they're doing things. I like that they're taking chances. I like that they're investing in the line, and it's like, we think He-Man's popular enough to pull off something like this. Let's give it a shot. So I'm glad they're doing it, but again, that's not necessarily for me.
You think they're going to sell?
I don't know. I mean, they haven't sold out yet. They're still available. They might end up on sale and whatnot. But again, for me, it's more of the space. Like, these are my He-Man shelves. I probably have enough room for the last like 6 or so figures that I need. I do not have the room for another cat, and I can't expand out of those shelves.
No floral or coral for you.
Just no room for me. Which is the bigger problem.
Cool. But thumbs up to trying something different. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, moving on.
When does He-Man actually come out?
This year?
All right. Good on you. Good to know.
Yeah, that probably is a key piece of information I should have taken from the trailer, but I was more worried about the shape of Mechanex's head.
No, you have your priorities.
I do have my priorities.
I get it.
All right, ready to move on to the next?
Let's move on.
Perfectly excellent.
Do tell.
So riddle me this. Let me a little pop quiz about Zelda. I know you know some Zeldas, but
I do.
if you were to take a guess, like how many mainline Zelda games do you think have been released since the original on the NES?
What would be considered a mainline game?
Like like an original full featured original adventure, not a remake or a remaster. Take your time.
12.
Ooh, that's a good guess. That I don't really know how many there've been. I think it's closer to 20.
You didn't have the answer?
I have the answer, but I think there's some debate on that very question you asked. Like, what is considered a mainline? Like, do we consider things like Four Swords or Four Swords Adventures?
That is exactly what I had in my mind, because that's one of the ones that I played on the Game Boy Advance, and I was wondering if that counted as a Zelda game.
Yeah, to me, like in my own personal take on it is, more the solo experiences. Like to me, that's like a mainline Zelda, something I'm gonna sit play on my own, and I think by that count, there's probably about 18 of those. Okay, so now out of those games, out of those 18 or 20, how many remakes and remasters do you think there's been?
What? So there's 18 in total. So I would say 17.
Sure, but I think it's closer to 9 remakes. Okay. And Master of the Universe brings the power June. Oh, I was looking at thanks, Manny. June 5th is the Masters of the Universe. He put his there we go. Glad you're here to tell us these things. Yeah, important notes. So, and including one of those was Ocarina of Time, which originally came out in was it 1998 on the Nintendo 64. It was already remade on the 3DS back in 2011, which was the first time I actually finished that game. Lo and behold, I've been trying, ever since its original release.
I don't know if I had that one or not. I think I might be confusing it with the Wind Waker.
Ooh, Wind Waker is a great one. Yeah. The Wind Waker was GameCube and Wii U.
Yeah, I had the GameCube one. The only Zelda I have ever finished is the first one. And I'm certainly not as like tied into Zelda as you, but of those 18, I've probably played 4 to 6 of them.
Okay. I've finished all but 2. But we'll one day I want to do a Zelda breakdown, and we'll talk about that in the future. But same thing with I'd like to do a Nintendo breakdown, because N64 was like a fuzzy era for me with Nintendo. So I didn't play Ocarina of Time when it originally came out. I played it later. And then again, I didn't finish it until 2011. But apparently now, we're in 2026, and there are rumors of a brand new remake for this coming to, I don't even know. Is it Switch 2 or the Switch and Switch 2? Which is very curious, another remake, 15 years since the last time.
So when they do remakes like that far away from the original source material, do they just kind of polish the edges a little bit, or do they essentially remake it completely, just having the same like gameplay mechanics?
No, they if we look at the 2011 remake, they vastly improved the textures. They add like gyro aiming, so you can kind of, when you're using the bow, I think it was for the slingshot and bow, they added a boss challenge mode, and they added like a master quest with harder dungeons. I'm not sure if that was there in the original, so don't quote me on. And that was something new. But yeah, they've again, this one seems to be that they're going to kind of go all out and rebuild it from the ground up. So not a remaster. Remaster, I think, is what you're considering, like polishing the edges. And a remake is when they do it completely from scratch. So this is curious. I know for a lot of people, this was the Zelda, not the original. This was the one that was like the big deal, that kind of made that leap from the original kind of 2D games into 3D, and had a huge open Hyrule feel that you can explore. Not the Zelda I was hoping for as a remake, but I'm intrigued by this.
Does this one have a horse that you just ride forever?
You do ride a horse forever across Hyrule field. Yeah, Epona. But that's in a couple of different games. So
I don't know if I've played this one or not.
Yeah, I wish I had some fancy things to show you, but the whole thing about this is it's seems to be like kind of substantiated rumors at this point, and there's word that Nintendo is not too pleased that these rumors have gotten out. So
they wanted it to be a big surprise.
Yeah, I think that this might be their big game for the holiday season, which again I'm excited about. I will pick it up and play it, but I still am waiting for Wind Waker HD to just be ported to the Switch, which is the Wii U remake of the GameCube game. Or there's a lot of, I'd say this wouldn't be my top pick for a remake right now. There's Game Boy Color Zelda games that are great that I would have liked to have seen, or I don't know. Or a Link Between Worlds, which came out on the 3DS, which is probably one of the best like 2D Zelda games out there. I would have loved to seen that ported to the Switch, but I'll take it. Give me my Zeldas, because I don't know what new stuff they can do from here on out.
Well, just as long as there's no reason that I ever have to play Zelda 2 ever again.
Oh, yeah. Again, I want to talk about Zeldas one day. I loved that when it came out, but I tried to play it again, and it's rough.
I didn't have that game, but my cousin Bobby had it, and I remember, going over his house. Like, oh, there's a new Zelda. Oh, what is this? What is this? I don't like this. And I just remember, dude, I remember just jumping and falling down pits constantly in the 2D, the side scroll portion of it.
That did happen. Yeah, and I waited online. I waited online outside of Child's World for that game. Like the day it came up, I still remember that.
Yeah. No good.
I fond memories, but yeah, it's a tough one. But yeah, I would like to do a deep dive into Zelda, and we can talk about all the where the series has gone over the years, because again, it's something that since the original, and I am still out there, still running around Hyrule.
I'm into it. I'm more into the broad Nintendo conversation than the Zelda one. I feel like, again, I only know like bits and pieces of the Zelda mythos, but I think it'll be good regardless.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah. Well, let's see. Be curious to watch this. When Nintendo actually makes this official, but I would guess probably holiday. This will be their big holiday game, because I don't really know what else they have coming out. So cool.
All right. So we got 3 demons down.
3 to go.
For number 4.
Perfectly excellent.
You're doing some of your best work here.
Thank you. You said to me that you wanted to talk about Spaceballs 2, because I guess they've announced a release date.
They have announced a release date, and I did make a note that this is going to, well, as of now, this is going to be released on April 23rd, 2027. So a little over a year from now.
That seems like a while still. Because I thought that they had finished filming it already, so that feels like a bit.
Well, editing takes some time.
That's true. I also read that there is a rumored title of it.
Oh,
which I hope is wrong.
Oh no, I didn't read this.
So the rumored title is Spaceballs: The New One.
Yeah,
which I think is a lackluster title.
It's not awful, but no, I think the Spaceballs 3, the search for Spaceballs 2 would have been tremendous.
Which apparently that was Rick Moranis' idea.
Okay.
Title.
Well, so we should listen to Rick.
I absolutely think you should listen to Rick about that. But I hope that's not the rumored title. It's, again, like you said, it's not offensive. It's just kind of lame. So I don't know.
What's your thoughts on this? Is this going to be good?
No. It's absolutely not going.
You want to think about that for a minute?
No, I don't think I need. I can tell you what I'd like out of it.
Okay, but let's do that instead.
Do I think it's going to be good? No. I mean, do you think it's going to be good?
I want it to be good.
Do you think it is going to be good?
I want it to be good. Like, I really want it to be good.
Answer the question, Claire.
I mean, I am sure there will be a chuckle or two.
All right, we'll see.
But
what I want out of it is not what I'm going to get. You know, I want like a decent story. It doesn't have to be a great story. The first one doesn't have a great story, but I want a decent story.
First one doesn't have a great story. How dare you, sir?
Yeah, it's just it's great. I love that movie, but it's not like it's got like a really profound epic tome that it is articulating over the course of its 90 minutes.
I take offense to this. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I just want it to be decent. What I really want, and what I know I'm not going to get, is I want 80s comedy pacing. I don't need that 10,000 miles an hour, 8 billion crummy jokes strung from one to next to the next to the next to the next. I just want it. I want it to breathe. I want it to be paced so that it feels like an extension of the first one. Because if it's paced like a modern comedy, it's not going to feel like Spaceballs. It's going to feel different. And I know that's not going to happen. But that's what I want.
That sounds like a tall ask, right? That's not what current movie go. Yeah, I want it to be non-offensive. Like, I don't want to be angry.
Yeah.
That's the low bar that I have for this one.
Yeah, I want it to...
I want toys though.
Yeah, the toys would be good. I wanted to avoid like really easy jokes about Star Wars. You know, like I don't need any jokes about hating sand, for example. Like, let's set the bar a little bit higher. And what I want more than anything, in addition to the pacing, is I want it to be kind of goofy and have like some good like non sequiturs. Like, my favorite joke in Spaceballs is preparing ship for metamorphosis, ready Kafka. That's my favorite joke in Spaceballs. I want stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, I would like a somehow Dark Helmet return though. That would be a good, Star Wars take. But no, look, they got, Rick Moranis is coming back. I think Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, Josh Gad. I don't know.
I can't imagine it's going to be good. I would love to be wrong. I would be so happy to be wrong. I don't have a lot of faith. What everybody out there, do you have faith in this? Do you think it's going to be good? Jump in the chat, down in the comments. Like, let us know. Like, am I out of my mind that this couldn't possibly be good?
I think what we'll have to benchmark, is it better than the animated series? Better or worse?
Well, come on.
It's such a low bar. I know. I'm excited. We have a year to, maybe we'll see some trailers and stuff at some point. Well, obviously we'll definitely see some trailers, and I think that'll show us which way this is going. But yes, toy lines. Maybe we get some merchandising from this movie. We're definitely overdue for that.
I agree with that. So I feel like we'll be talking about this more as, there are trailer reveals, as more information comes out. But as of right now, my expectations really could not be any lower. So even if it's mildly amusing, I think that'll probably end up being a victory, in my opinion. I don't know. Oh, well,
watch it more than once.
That might be more than I'm willing to give it.
No, we're gonna have to break this one down. This is one I will see in theaters.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll probably go see it together, and I'm sure we'll both leave probably being grumpy about different things.
I'm trying not to be super grumpy, but yeah, just be non-offensive, right? Be fun.
Yeah. Be goofy. I want a silly movie. I don't want it to just keep beating the parody over and over and over again. Because, again, if you watch the original Spaceballs, the jokes aren't funny because they're kind of like Star Wars. The jokes are funny because they're funny. It's just, they're just taking place in space. And that's what I want. I don't want it to just keep, oh, we're making fun of Star Wars. Oh, we're making fun of Star Trek. Oh, we're, like, just make it funny.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll be a pop culture kind of just taking jabs at everything.
Yeah,
we'll see. So, fingers crossed, hoping for the best. We got a year. They got a year to edit it into something that's
just get it awesome. Down. Get a half-hour long special.
Yeah, nice. Ooh, yeah. So more to come on that.
More to come. All right, so moving back over to some toy stuff.
Oh, hit me.
Perfectly excellent.
All right, so there was a G.I. Joe Classified live stream last week, maybe the week before, very recently. And it's the first one they've had this year, and it was pretty good. Their audio was horrible. I don't know what's going on at Hasbro, but they got to buy these fellas some better microphones because the audio was really, really bad throughout it.
Budget cuts, I guess.
Something like that. But it was a pretty good little thing where they revealed a bunch of figures. They had some pre-orders go up, and then they name revealed some upcoming characters. So I kind of wanted to just run through it a little bit because this is a line that I am invested in, and I like talking about it.
Yeah, sounds like you got all you can ask for a live stream. Pre-orders, announcements, and more.
Or did I?
Oh,
so the first thing they did was they went through their new retro reveals, which typically are figures that have come out once before, and then they're redecoed to make them more similar to either the cartoon or the original figures. Most of the time, the original figures. So they went up for pre-order, and that was Grunt, Wild Bill, and the Techno Viper. I have the original classified version of each of these, so I don't need these. I really like the look of Grunt because he does look much more like the original 13 figure, but the Grunt that I have is a really nice figure, and I don't feel I certainly don't feel the need to have two of them, and I don't think this one is better to the point where it replaces the one I have, so I like that one better.
Nice. Okay.
Wild Bill came with the HasLab. He's the Dragonfly pilot. So this is the first time they're selling him outside of the HasLab.
Any difference to this? Or you said new paint on this guy?
Yeah, not much. His gloves are a different color. He's got a few. His deco is a little simplified. He has one less hat than the other one has. It's not really that big of a difference at all. So again, I'm perfectly happy with the one that I have. But this is one of those things that people who didn't feel like buying a gigantic helicopter and wanted this figure, at least they can get this figure now without having to buy a aftermarket helicopter.
What's he going to do without his helicopter, though?
Yeah, he's got guns. Just cowboy tricks.
That's the thing. Got it.
Yeah. And then the last one is the Techno Viper, which again is kind of outside of my area of Joes that I'm familiar with. It's a little later in the line, but I did think it was a really cool looking figure. So I did buy the original classified version of it because it was on sale at one point for $13 or something like that. So I picked it up. I do like the color scheme of this one a little bit better because it's a little brighter. The one that I have is a little duller. And that's actually the only complaint I have about the classified line is a lot of the Cobra folks are really not super colorful. They're somewhat drab because they're trying to make it more practical. If this was real, you wouldn't be wearing a giant fluorescent purple uniform.
Well, that was the first thing I thought when I looked at it. I'm like, what is this camouflage for? Where do you not stand out in this?
Yeah, at the discotheque. But I think I like this figure better because I think it looks better on the shelf because it'll pop a little bit more. But it's not different enough to where I'm going to buy it a second time. I'm happy enough with my $13 on sale pickup that I did not too long ago.
But look at all those accessories.
I have them. It's the same accessories. It's actually one less accessory.
Ooh, bummer. Okay. Well,
yeah. So
it's like a good assortment there.
Yeah, no, they're cool figures. The people who need them, good on them. It's just these were ones that I was going to skip. So the next pre-order that they did was Iron Grenadier Destro and the Despoiler.
The Despoiler, a great name.
So again, this is past my time in GI Joe. I think the Iron Grenadier stuff was like 88 or 89 in GI Joe land, and like I wasn't playing with GI Joe anymore at that point. I'm pretty much out at like 86. That's kind of the bleeding edge of when I played with it when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get this because I have a very, very, very strict rule that like I will only get vehicles that I had when I was a kid, because like I don't have space to just buy a whole bunch of vehicles for GI Joe Classified. That said, I think this thing is rad looking.
This is out there. I like his gigantic sword and his shield. Not the Destro I know, like you were saying.
No. You know, I have the OG Destro, and he's awesome. This is a really cool looking figure. And this despoiler, this thing's huge. It's like this big. Like it is a chunky little vehicle. So I am very tempted by this. I will not get it, but it is tempting. I mean, it's awesome looking, right? Oh, are you frozen?
Part like you got the black. Am I frozen?
You're a little frozen there.
I'm here. You hear me?
I can hear you. I don't see you moving no more.
Talk about it. Okay. All right. Well, if you can hear me, I want to say like I love the black and the gold, but my favorite part is the red chair. Let's be but yeah, this is not I've ever seen before.
I'm sorry, you broke up and I couldn't hear what you said your favorite part was.
Oh, my favorite part is the red chair, like amidst all the black and gold on this. It's just like such a like, hey, this is it's like comfy, like, you know, he just like, yeah, let's go with red, you know, like when he was putting this all together.
I want it to be like red leather, like plush, shiny red leather.
Yeah. It looks like a gaming chair or something, like to me, like where he just wants to look good when he's out there with his cape and sword and shield and whatnot.
Yeah,
wild stuff here. The spoiler.
It's awesome, but I'm gonna pass on it. So let me just blow through the last couple of things. So then they had two box sets. They had Red Dog and Taurus, which went up for pre-order, and they're part of Sergeant Slaughter's crew from G.I. Joe the movie, which is not, again, I only saw the G.I. Joe movie for the first time a couple of months ago. It wasn't something that I watched when I was a kid. Again, a little past my 1986 era. Again, these are pretty cool looking figures, but I don't know that I really need these, especially since I don't have the other folks in Sergeant Slaughter's crew. I have a Sergeant Slaughter, but I don't think I need some more of his buddies. And then the last thing that was revealed was the Cobra ramp rats, which are meant to go along with the Rattler. They're supposed to be kind of like the ground crew. So they sort of have like those cones that they have at the airport, like directing the planes to and fro. Again, pretty cool looking figures. I think they're kind of neat looking, but I don't think they're anything that I need. One, because I don't have a Rattler. And two, because I just don't know that I need extra like troop builder kind of people hanging around that weren't part of the G.I. Joe that I watched when I was a kid. So I think Alan is just about back in. So we're gonna move past the box set here and go on to the very last piece of the puzzle that they had, which was the name only reveals. Welcome back.
Thanks. Oh, it's good to be back. Shut down the whole movie there.
You're still kind of lagging a little bit, unfortunately. But anyway, the last thing they did was they had a couple of name only reveals of figures that will be coming out. None of which are characters that I'm actually familiar with. There's the Toxo Viper, which I don't know what this dude is, but he looks kind of cool. So depending on what the classified figure ends up looking like, that might be something I'm interested in. We have Mistress Armada, who, from what I have read, is part of the Iron Grenadiers, and I guess is from a comic or something like that. Not familiar with her. We'll see what she ends up looking like. And then lastly is this fellow named Psych Out, who has some very interesting hair. Is really kind of my big takeaway from looking at the retro figure of that one. So again, None of these are for me. And that's kind of like the big thing about this live stream is that they didn't show a single thing that I ended up pre-ordering or that I necessarily know for sure I'm going to end up getting. Maybe the Toxo Viper, depending on what that looks like, just because the card art here from the vintage figure is pretty neat looking. But I don't think that I need any of this stuff. And like, I'm okay with that because they give me enough things. They kind of have that something for everyone mentality that when a wave comes that isn't necessarily right up my alley as far as what I'm looking for in G.I. Joe, that's okay. And I don't get aggravated about it like Black Series because it happens sporadically, unlike Black Series, which disappoints me almost every time they do anything these days.
At least it's consistent.
Oh, Black Series? Yeah, I guess it's consistently weird.
I'm guessing.
All right, so Alan is definitely having some issues with his connection right now. So we were going to go into the Maul recap.
Not here.
Oh, wait, I think you might. Are you back? Oh, this is unfortunate. Apologies, everybody. We're having some technical possibilities. So while we're trying to figure that out, I'm gonna just hit the bumper. We're gonna start up Maul, and we're gonna see if Alan's connection sorts itself out in the meantime. So pay attention to the blinking yellow thing here.
Perfectly excellent.
So we've got some potential spoilers going on with Maul. Again, apologies. I'm not sure exactly what's happening with Alan's connection, but I'm going to very quickly, if nothing else, just give my thoughts on Maul, and then we'll get this wrapped up for the day. Oh, I see a little spinny thing. Oh, are you there?
I'm spinning. I'm a spinny thing. I hope so. I don't know. Our whole internet just died here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're sort of pixelated and laggy, but you're there.
Back. Let's see what happens here. Yes, it's not looking good.
All right, so hopefully your connection will stabilize. I'm going to just start off with just some of my thoughts on the first two episodes of Maul. In general, I really liked both of them. I thought they looked really cool. I thought they were telling kind of an interesting story. When it started off, I did not really understand what planet they were on because I thought they were on Coruscant, but they ended up talking about a governor a lot. So I actually ended up looking it up, and apparently they were on a planet called Janix, which they do not make very clear to me in the show. So I was a little confused about that. But basically, everything kind of starts off with Maul trying to set up a fight between like other rival crime bosses, which he is successful in that, and one of them kills the other one. And then they sort of introduce this character of kind of like a good cop, like a cop who's trying to do the right thing, who's part of the police force, but is not necessarily part of the Empire. And on many occasions, he actually makes reference to like, no, don't get the Empire involved in this. You know, we need to do this without them. They'll just sort of make everything worse. And he's a good character. And it's sort of like an interesting take on things to where you have, you know, because since this is taking place in the time of the Empire, I think it's interesting that you can have the crime bosses who you're going to kind of want to root for Maul anyway, but they can still have like a police or authority figure that's not like the corrupt Empire side of things. So you can have like a good guy that's not necessarily a Jedi. So there's a bunch of, like I said, a bunch of manipulation where he's trying to get those rival crime bosses to fight. They fight, cops show up. There's this other Jedi who's sort of like this lizard guy, which I had to look up his name as well. And it's Iko Diodaki, which is an interesting name. And he's hanging out with a younger girl Jedi whose name is Devin Izara. who gets arrested at some point and then ends up in jail, which so does one of the two crime bosses that Maul was getting to fight. So the small crime boss, whose name is Vario, kills the other guy, and then he gets taken away by the cops. But Maul still wants to get at Vario and kill him because he betrayed him at some point. So he invades the police station and just completely wrecks shop over there. He takes Vario, and then while he was there, he sees the younger Jedi girl, the Devin Izara. She's also in prison. So he's like, gonna get me an apprentice, takes her too. That's when that episode sort of wraps up. So it's a cool episode, but I think you really need to see it in conjunction with the second one, because by itself, it feels like it goes by really fast, and it ends very cliffhangery. Like he's like going, he being Maul, turns around and is walking toward Devin's cell to go get her, and then it just ends. So luckily, we get episode 2 right away, which has this really awesome chase scene where the space cops chase after Maul and Vario after, he breaks them out of the space jail. They almost catch him. Maul just sort of destroys this bridge with a bunch of innocent bystanders on it, which makes all the cops go, oh, all of these people are going to die. And then the lizard Jedi guy, he jumps back in and he uses the Force to kind of save the bridge people. And then he sort of vanishes right when the main police officer fellow tries to figure out like what's going on with him. Oh, are you on your phone?
Yeah, I think our internet just completely died here. So,
oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll try it.
We'll try. So I'm going to just wrap up the recap of episode 2. Maul has Vario and Devin, puts them in cells. He's very much playing the manipulative mentor role with Devin, saying, she can leave whenever she wants, but, he obviously wants her as an apprentice. Vario is going to help Maul get at the Pikes because he also wants to kill them because everybody in the world apparently betrayed him. And then at the end, Devin breaks out of her cell, and then it just sort of ends. So there's a lot going on, but I like it. And the thing that I like the most about it is Maul. He's such a great character, which I find so amusing because he sucked so bad in The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? How much good Maul we've gotten post Phantom Menace. Like that was his worst appearance ever. Like where he just like snickered and then was cut down. But we've gotten in Rebels, Clone Wars, and now his own show. It's been great. I've been pretty psyched.
Yeah, no, I really, really dug the first episodes. I'm already bummed that there's only 10 and we're only going to get this for 5 weeks. But I thought it was a really, really strong first showing, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. I'm psyched that they've already renewed it for a second season, and awesome. I am so fine with Star Wars cartoons. Like they're always great, and I wish they just did more of them.
And I was like really enamored by the animation in this one. Like everything looked so cool, and when they zoomed in on the characters, they all had this kind of like grit to them. I thought this was like extremely well done. But you had said something where you didn't know what planet it was. You looked it up. I was confused. Where are we? Like, what time frame is this?
Well, it's definitely the time of the Empire, and it's definitely before Rebels because he dies in Rebels. Sorry, but we did the spoiler thing before. It's got to be after the Clone Wars because the Empire is up and running. So it's probably somewhere in, I don't know, if I'm guessing, maybe around like Obi-Wan time.
Okay. Yeah, because it was never really called out. Like they didn't give a time frame, which I guess gives them some freedom to figure all that out.
Yeah. I was surprised they didn't do like the BBY thing though. They like that.
Yeah, the BBY. And then have we ever heard the term police used in Star Wars before?
I don't think so.
Okay. Because I thought that was interesting. I think we had like security like mentioned before, but police, I thought that was cool. And then it turned in kind of like a police drama, which I'm all for. Like
and I think you were disconnected when I was talking about this before, but I really like the idea of there being a good cop during the time of the Empire who doesn't really want to get the Empire involved, and he's trying to do the right thing, but he's not a Jedi. He's just like a normal person in a position of power who's trying to do right. And like, it gives you a good guy you can root for, because Maul is awful likable.
Yeah, he is. He's good too. Like you said, the interactions with him and the Jedi that he had in captive. Yeah, he's, I don't know. He's nigh good, but he's like, I feel like almost, I don't want to use the word sympathetic, but he's got reason.
Yeah, like I can't help but root for him. So the fact that they have developed a foil for him that I also like, I commend them on that. I'm surprised they were able to do that, because normally I think I would be kind of like, oh, I don't remember, like in Clone Wars, there's that one Imperial officer who is not Clone Wars, Bad Batch. There's that one Imperial officer who, like, you couldn't possibly care about him. Like, he's a terrible foil because he wasn't like a good, compelling character. Whereas I find this guy to be a compelling character, and I often find that that's more difficult to do with good guys than bad guys.
Yeah, I hope we get more of it though. Like, I wasn't, I wasn't super plussed about like, oh, he's just trying to get revenge on like these syndicates that had like wronged him. I hope there's it gets deeper than that.
Yeah,
because he's got, again, I think about his time in Rebels, how he was manipulating Ezra, like again, everything he was saying was from a certain point of view. Like, you could sympathize, you can understand where he was coming from. So,
well, I think it's more than just revenge on crime bosses, because he did say at one point to his second in command, whose name I don't know, the Mandalorian who was helping him out. He did say that like the goal was Darth Sidious.
Yes, because he did get, you feel bad for Maul. He kind of got used and tossed out there. So,
like a bag of moldy tangerines.
Yeah, spiky tangerines.
Spiky, dragon fruit.
Exactly. But again, this was actually, and it was cool because the whole family was in on this one. We sat down and watched it together, and after we finished the first episode, it was like, oh, we need more. Like, let's jump right into the next one. So certainly the intrigue factor is there, and yeah, I don't know. I'm eager to see where it's going, but just so awesome to see Maul back in the hot seat, back in the action.
No, good stuff. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to talking more about it in the upcoming weeks, because if the rest of the episodes are as fun as these were, I think we're in for a good ride, and I'm psyched about that.
Yeah. You think we'll get like cameos or something at some point?
Probably. I would imagine we'll get a couple here and there, but I'm very curious to find out what's going on with the lizard Jedi guy. Like, I again, he's another character that right away he's done very little, but I like him immediately.
His intrigue, that's right. He's got his little metal pipe, and he threw a vehicle. That was no small feat.
Saved a bridge.
So that seemed tiring. That wore him out, and he's like a mole man, like a lizard guy. Yeah. Oh, that's right. And they are hungry, and they tried to steal some Melurens or whatever those were.
So anyway, I think it'll be cool. I'm psyched on it so far. But
yeah, big fan. I'm glad to just have something new too. Like, I missed having a Star Wars show. So
yeah, I'm glad to have a little bit of TV to watch. I've got that going, and I've also been watching the new season of Daredevil. So I'm enjoying that quite a bit as well so far.
Awesome. Yeah, I need to get caught up. I know there's Invincible is out, and I think we've got a lot of stuff. I think The Boys is starting up again soon. So good time to distract yourself from the world.
Yes,
good programming.
Could very much use some distractions. So, but yeah, I think we should probably wrap it up while your internet is still sort of stable.
I am on the cellular network now. I've given up on the Wi-Fi. That is dead. I have a 1.34 megabytes per second upload right now. It is just completely tanked. So I've replaced everything within my walls. So I believe the issue is not in here. It's got to be with something outside. I mean, it's been good. This is the first issue I've had in a while. So,
well, sorry. We got through the vast majority of the show with no problem. So that's good. But yeah, so we will be back next week, hopefully back to our normal Thursday time slot. I'm not actually sure what we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah, I don't know. We did Six Demon this week. We talked about magazines. We talked about the internet. I don't know. We will have to discuss.
We'll have to figure something out. I know you have some thoughts about doing like a real deep dive on some Nintendo stuff, but I don't know if we're going to get that ready. And we have a rewind coming too.
Oh, that's right. What was our rewind? I forgot.
Howard the Duck.
Oh gosh, yeah, we're gonna do that. We could talk. The Nintendo one. I'm curious because I know my relationship with Nintendo over the years. I'm curious to talk about yours and like how we went on the ins and outs and stuff like that. So yeah, let's discuss. I know you're traveling though, so happy trails.
Yeah. I'm only going away for a tiny little bit, but I'll be back soon enough. And then we hope to see everybody next week. So as always, drive fast, take chances.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Perfectly excellent.